Hey everybody, I'm Becky Adams. Thanks for stopping by for another edition of Inspiration Station on the weekly Scrapper blog. And whether you made it to this video through the blog or through the Scrapbook Expo YouTube channel, I'm glad that you found your way here. Today we're going to be creating a layout, and I've got products pulled from a few different collections. The main collection that I'm using today is the Take Me Away collection from Pink Paisley, and that is designed by our very own Paige Evans. She also blogs here on the weekly Scrapper blog, so you'll have to be sure and check out her posts. The layout that we're creating today is a really interactive layout with lots of photos and lots of journaling. I decided to keep it on a 12 by 12 background. So I have chosen this, it's a wood grain, but it's got kind of a mint tone to it. And that's the one I'm going to use for the background. I'm just going to go ahead and trim off the branding strip there and set that aside. I always keep the branding strips if they do have a pattern paper. See, that side just is the branding strip, but there's that pretty pattern on the back. So I'm going to go ahead and hold on to that. And this is the background that I've chosen. And then I only used two other pattern papers for this layout. And I got this one, it's kind of a dark black, or kind of a charcoal color, I guess, with a floral, tone-on-tone floral pattern. And it's got this cute polka dot and bows on the back. But I chose to use this side. And then I love this cityscape pattern paper. And in fact, I even got 2 or 3 sheets of it because I loved it so much. And I knew immediately when I got it that I wanted to fussy cut some of these buildings out. So I did that, as you can see, off the bottom of this pattern paper. And so this is what I have here. And as you can see, it fits perfectly there along the top of the page. And then I've got this pattern, the charcoal pattern on the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere this cityscape to the background. I am using Thermoweb's Permanent Tape Runner XL. I really like that adhesive. If you've seen any of my other videos, you've probably noticed that I use it quite often. So I'll just adhere that cityscape, and then I'm going to adhere this black, or this charcoal pattern right underneath. But I am only going to put adhesive along the bottom, and you'll see why in just a moment. I'm just going to put that right up there against the bottom. But let me show you what I've gotten, what I prepared for the photos. I have 5, 6, 7, 8 different photos here. I printed them at 3 inches by 2 inches, and I changed them all to black and white just because there was so many different colors. It just didn't work well with the color palette that I had chosen. So I just made them all black and white to make them a little more cohesive. And then on the inside, you can see that I've added just a couple of stickers. And I'm just going to add that little heart right there. Oops. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to lay that right there for now because I want to make sure that I have room for my title, because it's kind of a long title. And what I've done is just taken my title, and I put it on some just clear packaging so that I could place it and make sure that it was going to fit exactly where I wanted it to. And now I'm just going to go ahead and put those stickers here along the bottom. Now that I have my title adhered along the bottom, as you can see, the title is Exploring Salt Lake. And once I had my thickers in place, I went ahead and ran the title through my sewing machine. And I do this for a couple of reasons. The first is I really like the look of it. I kind of like the texture that it brings to the layout. And the other thing is that I found that over time, letter stickers tend to lose their stickiness, and I've found several layouts that I've made and the letter stickers have fallen to the bottom of my page protectors. So that's just a little tip. You might want to add some extra adhesive or some machine stitching to your letter stickers. So now I'm ready to adhere this strip of photos and journaling. And since this has so many photos and is made of cardstock and has stickers, I'm going to go ahead and use some of this red sticky tape. This is also from Thermoweb. I'm just going to take a couple of strips along the back. The one thing about this sticky tape, if you haven't heard me mention it before, is that it's really sticky and really permanent. So you've got to make sure that you have your placement exactly where you want it, because it will stick. Once it contacts the other side of the paper or whatever you're adhering it to, it's pretty much a done deal. You can't move it. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and I just want this centered from side to side. And see there, I said once it's stuck, it's stuck. So I've got that. I want to do just a little bit of embellishment. That's why I left this open, because I wanted to tuck a couple of things down there. And the first thing is I wanted to add just a little bit of embellishment, a little embellishment cluster right here, kind of above the photos. So I've chosen just a couple of basic white shipping tags. And so I'm just going to use these 2 tags and just offset the height just a little bit. Okay, so now that I've got those tags tucked in, I'm going to go ahead and go back right here and add some adhesive to keep that charcoal pattern paper in place. There we go. And while I'm working on this embellishment cluster, I'm going to take one of these little bows. They're faux suede, and they're with the Take Me Away collection. They come in this package of 6. And for this one, I'm going to use this little splash of yellow, and I'm going to use liquid adhesive to adhere that. So I'm going to put just a little dot here, just like that. And while that's drying, I'm going to work on a little bit of embellishment down here. I'm sure you noticed I left quite a big gap between the words here. And I wanted to add this chipboard camera. And I got this camera from the Maggie Holmes Gather collection. This is by Crate Paper. And I just love that little camera, and I thought it was so fitting for just all the photos that I've got on this layout. The journaling on this layout, I'll just explain it to you briefly. Just over a year ago, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it's been a really hard year, but this layout and this journaling is talking about one of the positive sides. And it's been really hard to see the positive side, but I believe that it's really important that you do so in hard situations. And the positive side that I talk about on this is that when we did take her to treatments, it was in another city a few hours away, and we did get to spend some time exploring the city and doing some fun things that we probably wouldn't have done if we didn't have a reason to make that many trips to, it's actually Salt Lake City, as you can see. So I just wanted to add that little camera, and in the middle of that, the camera lens right there, I want to add one of these. It's a brad, but there's no prongs to it. They're self-adhesive. These are from Simple Stories. It's the Posh collection. And the colors just go along really well with this, with the pattern papers and stuff that I chose. So I just want this little heart brad to go right in the center. And then back up here, now that my glue's had a little bit of time to dry, I wanted to add a couple of paper clips. These are also from the Take Me Away collection, and I love the fun square shape that they have to them. And I was just going to take a couple of these. I'm noticing what colors I have down here, which is pretty much all of them from this layout, and just I want to bring a little bit more color up here to this embellishment cluster. And like I did with the tags, I'm just going to put this heart a little bit higher than the flower. And actually I'm going to switch their spots, because this flower I feel like is blending into that building because the color is so similar. And I'm going to take a glue dot. These are just medium dots from Thermal Web. And I'm just going to glue dot these paper clips in place. And then as a finishing touch, I'm just going to add a few of these gold puffy hearts that can go on just about anything. There's 52 in this package, so there's plenty. I'm just going to add a couple here to that. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple down here. We're going to put one right here on the camera. And then I think the other ones we'll put here inside. Okay, and so I think with that, I'm going to call this layout finished. But before I let you go, I've had some questions recently about how I get, how I put interactive layouts like this that has the lift up flap on into a page protector. So I'll just show you quickly how I do that. This is just your basic 12 by 12 page protector. This one's from We Are Memory Keepers. And what I do first is just put my layout in there like it would be normally. And then I take an X-Acto knife, or this happens to be a pen blade. And if you haven't seen the pen blade, you should check it out. It's a really cool, handy tool. It's the blade's retractable, so to keep your fingers a little safer. The other thing that's nice about it is that you don't have to change the blade on this. It's disposable, so you just, when the blade gets dull, you just throw it away and then grab another one, and that saves your fingers from potentially getting cut when you change the blade. Anyway, so now that I have my layout in the page protector, I'm just going to take this pen blade and very carefully cut just through the page protector. You want to be careful not to cut through any of your pattern paper here. So just really carefully just go through that top layer of the page protector and go right along the top of the interactive element. And I go a little bit, not very much, but a little bit further on each end. So I just cut it like that, and then I take it out again. This one I don't even have to take out all the way. And then I just take that flap and pull it through right there. So it does leave your photos not as protected, especially if they're on this top flap. So this isn't a technique that I would do with really special one-of-a-kind photos, or photos that you, older photos, because little fingers can get to them this way. But now I have my page in a page protector, so it can go right in my album. And I've got the flap here so that you can read the journaling and see the photos that are inside. And then also that leaves the back of the layout ready to go for whatever project you decide to put on the back. So thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Make sure that if you haven't already, you subscribe to the Scrapbook Expo blog, or to the Scrapbook Expo blog and YouTube channel, so that you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And as always, if you enjoy this video and this is what you would like, if you would like to see more projects like this, I'd appreciate it if you give me the thumbs up, and that way YouTube and Scrapbook Expo and myself know what videos you would like to see coming in the future. So thanks again for joining me today. I'll see you again soon.